Victoria Arbiter. We watched a lot of this together this morning. What stood out to you the most? What was it about this day that really spoke to you?
I think probably the fact that we've got this very public wedding. You know, they're estimating 2 billion people are watching. We've seen hundreds of thousands out on the street, but it was still a very personal day for William and Kate. There were some really tender moments, some really intimate moments that we got to share. We were both, such saps. We're sitting here watching William go, "You look beautiful," to Kate, but that's what we want to see. This really feels like a true fairy tale. You don't want to put that connotation on them, but you just believe that this couple genuinely are in love and are going to make it.
It was interesting because CBS very early this morning re-aired the 1981 wedding of Charles and Diana, of course, William's parents. And you and I were watching it together, and they walked out of the church, and they didn't really look at one another. They didn't seem that excited or that happy. It was the exact opposite with this couple this morning.
It was. Like, we looked at that footage of Diana, and nerves had got the better of her, and she was deep breathing and sort of the sense of the occasion. And yet this morning, William and Kate looked like it could be any other day for them. Kate was so composed. I know we have to start calling her Catherine, but she just seemed so at ease. And it was a forum that she was just born for, and I think she's going to do very well.
It's interesting, too, the way that in this short 5 months, these two seem to have really brought about quite a sense of nationalism and of national pride here. I mean, it is, if you can find a surface in London right now that is not covered with the Union Jack, I would be amazed.
You're absolutely right, and I think it's a tremendous burden that's on their shoulders, but I think William is aware of it, but he's just got such a knack. The fact that the night before the wedding he was out on the Mall shaking hands with campers. This morning they said that whether or not it rained, they were going in that open top carriage. If people had been prepared to sleep on the street, they were prepared to get wet. They're so in touch with what the people want, and it's lovely to see.
The people wanted for a long time to know who she was going to wear. Are you surprised that they were able to keep this gorgeous dress, the designer Sarah Burton of Alexander McQueen, which had been rumored but not confirmed? Surprised they were able to keep it a secret?
I'm amazed they were able to keep it a secret. Again, I think it's just really telling of how people feel about this couple. We've had no one telling stories, no ex-boyfriends, girlfriends kissing and telling, nobody revealing any secrets or prepared to talk about anything. And so it's really been quite remarkable that we've had about 4 months of this engagement and no confirmation on the dress, no paparazzi pictures taken, no thread pulled out of a trash can. It's impressive.
It's nice. She's wearing a tiara that was loaned to her by the Queen. It's a Cartier tiara from the 30s. George VI, I believe, bought it for Queen Victoria.
George VI bought it for his wife,
exactly,
the Queen Mother.
Queen Mother, Queen
and it's lovely that they gave that to our current Queen for her 18th birthday.
And then she loaned it to her granddaughter-in-law.
Yes,
I suppose we can call Catherine, as you pointed out. What happens now? They're in the middle of the lunch reception just behind us at Buckingham Palace, but their day is far from over.
They've got a long day still ahead. That's the way with British weddings. They've got their formal reception right now. They'll be leaving quite soon to go to Clarence House. They're going to have a rest. It's possible Catherine is going to change dresses. We may see another dress come out of Clarence House for tonight's reception. But I think they'll be looking forward to tonight, where they get to just kick back with their friends, relax, enjoy the wedding, and really celebrate by letting their hair down.
Do you think the Queen is ready to relax a little bit as well? Do you think it's been a long day for her?
It probably has, and rumour has it that she's hightailing it to Windsor right after this reception. She's leaving Buckingham Palace to the youngsters, and they can party all night long. And apparently Harry's bringing out bacon butties for everyone, so hopefully he'll take pity on us and bring us some too.
There you go. Yes, he's doing a 6 a.m. Survivor's breakfast for anyone who's still standing at 6 in the morning. I do want to touch on really quickly, you and I watched an incredible moment here as we were watching, because behind us we see Buckingham Palace. We can also see all of the people who were crowded in here. So we saw them come in off the Mall once they opened up, once the carriages had gone through. And the lengths that people went to. This space is empty now. Picture it filled with people. We saw parents carrying stools for their kids to stand up on. We also saw people go for a bit of a swim.
They did. It's cold out there and the water's cold, but we saw people were going to do whatever they could to make sure they could see the kiss. The kiss is what everyone has been waiting for. It was a lovely controlled surge up the Mall. People were being very respectful of the occasion, but we saw them in the fountains. We saw them climbing over the walls. Lovely that parents had stools for their children, because those children will remember this day.
And were you surprised at all that the Middletons came out on the balcony along with the royal family?
I was quite surprised, and generally that's the opportunity for the whole royal family to come out. It was a shame not to see all the aunts and uncles, but the balcony's not quite big enough to accommodate everyone. But it's such an optimistic time for the royal family, and this wedding's really kicking off a great year for them.
It is. Victoria, thanks as always.
Thank you.